cheater, 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 cheater. I want to say that the one distinction that is important is that it has always been completely acceptable for anybody to criticize chess.com. We're not shutting down any voices. There are complaints about cheating. There are complaints about the company. There are complaints about me personally. There are complaints about all sorts of things. We know how likely it is that a player of a certain rating can achieve a certain level of play. And the truth is that we understand that better than somebody in their own intuition.
Why do you call this intuition, Eric? It's not intuition. It's we're talking about Kramnik. Let's name the.
He's not the only one, though.
No, but sure, he's the loudest one. So
he's the loudest.
He's the loudest one, and he's also the most respected one. He's the former world champion who has been in chess elite for 25 years.
There's credibility problems. There's legal problems. There's ethical problems. And so it's very easy for somebody to sit on the sidelines and say, hey, there's 100 people here. 10 might be innocent. We'll shoot all 100 and then figure it out later. We closed 160 title players for cheating. That's a lot.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ilya Levitov. This is a very hard experience for me. I'm very used to talking to all chess people, grandmasters, FIDE CEOs, but only in Russian. So for me, it's quite a challenge to talk about chess on air in English. I had probably maybe 2 experiences with Vishy, Anand with Vidit. So only with Indians, basically. So now, but today is a very important recording for me, a very important talk with Eric Allibest, who is the CEO of chess.com. This is, hi Eric, first of all.
You made it sound scary when you said that.
Chess.com is scary.
Okay.
Hi Eric.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. It's a pleasure for us. It's an honor for us, and we are very interested to find out a few things about Chess.com and what is going on in the chess world, because Chess.com became some kind of it was a separate part of the chess world, and now maybe it's fair to say that Chess.com is the chess world now. How do you feel that? What part of the chess world are you now?
Chess.com is a big part of the chess world, but the chess world is massive, and it's so big and exists in so many places. I mean, it exists on chess.com. It exists on, over the board in tournaments. It exists in other chess websites. It exists on YouTube. It exists in Reddit. It exists everywhere. And chess.com plays an important role in that. But the great news is that nobody can own chess. Chess exists outside of all ownership, which is, I think, a really positive thing for the game. That said, yeah, I mean, more games are played on chess.com every single day than, anywhere else. And a lot of people, for a lot of people, chess.com is chess. It's the app they use. It's a lot of the content they do. It's some of the events they watch. It's their social media. And, we're fans ourselves. And so, for us, it's exciting to see how much people are enjoying what we produce. And, at the same time, I think, sometimes it is a little bit humbling for me to hear, like you said, chess.com is a big deal, much bigger than we ever thought it would be, and very surprising for us.
You were at the beginning you were there from the start, right? How did it happen? I mean, what's your connection with chess.com?
I mean, I bought the domain name in 2005. Before that, it was like a CD software learning company. And, I bought the domain name with a partner, Jay, who was my technical partner. I was kind of front end and he was back end. And then we just started building it, and we thought it would be something kind of small and, fun to do. And our vision was to make the MySpace of chess. That's how old I am. MySpace was old, and at the time it was whatever, we wanted to make a place where chess players could have profiles, but we didn't even think about places to play. We thought it would be like profiles and learning, but then play somewhere else and do other things. But, anyway, Jay and I started it together from the very first lines of code and the first ideas in 2005.
And then?
Then when I graduated from business school, I decided not to get a job and just do this crazy chess thing, and it it started taking, slowly growing, and then, growing and slowly growing and growing, and people would come and create accounts, and then they're like, "Hey, we want to play chess." We're like, "Okay, we'll make a place to play chess." And then, "Hey, we want forums." And, "Okay, we'll do that." "Oh, we want, a place to practice." "Okay, we'll try to build that." And then we started to sell our learning software called Chess Mentor at the time, and it became a subscription that people could buy to get online content. And immediately we started to make some small amount of money, and then we could hire people, and we started to hire a couple of people, and within a couple of years we had 10, 12 people, and it was just slowly grew from there, and it grew into this really big thing that is now so much bigger than anyone thought possible.
Are you the owner as well of Chess.com? Who are the owners of this big thing?
Chess.com is owned uh, roughly half by the team, which I'm part of, and roughly half by an investor group, General Atlantic. They're, a growth equity fund, and that is something I have mixed feelings about. I wish weren't true, but we had some investors over time kind of buy in and then wanted to sell, and then it kind of how stuff goes like that. And here we are. We have a great relationship with our investors, but mostly we feel like it's just owned by the people who work here.
Yeah, but how the second part is that fund is connected with the Scheiberg family, or it's a different thing?
Oh, the Scheinberg family. They were
Yes.
owners for a time. They're
Okay.
no longer owners of
Oh,
chess.com.
they're no owners, yeah?
No,
Okay,
they
more.
wanted to, for whatever personal reasons, they decided to exit chess.com. They're still great friends, and they still do a lot for chess to promote, but no longer owners.
How many accounts do you have? So I've read that you've overstepped the 100 million accounts.
Yeah, it's
So-
like 160 million accounts.
160 million accounts.
Yeah.
Do you have an understanding what is an active account? So like the person plays once per month, once per year.
Yeah.
How
So
do you define it?
monthly active users. So somebody who comes and logs in and does something in a month's time. There's about 60 million people each month who do something on chess.com.
60 million out of this 160?
Yeah. And every day it's between 8 and 10 million.
And how many dead accounts do you have? Like people are no longer using it.
I mean, I don't think of it in that way. I don't know. Again, of those 60 million, maybe, some people come and some people don't. I mean, if you said people who haven't logged in the last year, I don't know. 2 years, I don't know. I mean, sometimes chess is an interesting thing, and chess comes in and out of people's lives like waves. They'll play it very addictively for, a couple of months, and then they'll get busy and they won't play for 6 months. Or, I talked to somebody, a lot of people who played when they were younger, and then they come back to it, after 5 years. And so, I don't know. I don't really think of it in terms of dead accounts, but, more in terms of 60 million people every month come and do something and enjoy it.
Lichess publishes the amount of games they play, and they publish the PGNs of the game. So there was a time I had not much to do during summer, and we downloaded this PGN file, and we found out that this 100 million games per month, approximately 100 million games per month that were rated games that were played on Lichess were played only by 1.5 million people.
Yeah.
Can we say that the same proportion? Can we extrapolate the same proportion to Chess.com? Of course, you have much more game and users, but I'm saying that this core. What is the core audience of Chess.com out of these 60 million?
Yeah,
How do you
I
think?
Our player base, again, it's a little bit different in that you have a lot of people who play just bots, for example, or who come and just watch our content and use certain features, but maybe they play, somewhere else like Lee Chess. So it's kind of hard to say exactly. I would say, I don't really know how to answer the question that way. Again, every single day there's, 8 to 10 million people who do it. So I would say our core audience is probably closer to 20 million of people who, on a weekly basis, I think it's about 20 million on a weekly basis who are using the app pretty significantly.
And what percentage of them are playing? What percentage of them are learning? And what percentage of them are just, watching your content? Approximately, of course, approximately.
Most people come and play. That's the most, by far. Most people play online live chess kind of real time against each other as we're, used to playing blitz and etc. But pretty close after that is playing against the bots. People really enjoy playing the computer. For a lot of people, it's a little bit less intimidating, less time, maybe a little more fun. They can quit in the middle and not feel bad about it. And so, a lot of people play bots. So that's the majority of what people do.
No cheating as well.
Fair enough. You can use assistance if you want, feel good about using an arrow. It tells you where to play. Yeah, that's a great point. And then I think learning about 25% of our users, no, higher. Well, if you include kind of game review, which is where you review your game after, it's closer to like 30%, 40% of people do that. In terms of just doing puzzles is about 25%, I think. And then doing lessons is about like 10 to 15%. And a lot of people will even message me personally and say, hey, I'm stuck at this rating. How do I get better? And I always say, like, do you do lessons? Because a lot of these are lower rated players, like do the lessons, learn about forks, learn about pins, learn about, key end games. And a lot of people, oh, sorry, I haven't done the lessons. I'm like, well, if you want to get better, it's, so a lot of people play, but don't want to do the work necessarily to get better, which I think is okay. I think it's fine to just enjoy chess at whatever level you want.
No, for sure. And okay, to some different angle of Chesscom. Before pandemics, before COVID, basically elite chess world, elite grandmasters were somehow disconnected from online. When everybody was sitting at home, people started playing. Chess24 introduced this Magnus tour, all these matches, and then you acquired Chess24, and you somehow, first of all, Title Tuesday became a thing. I didn't know about Title Tuesday, honestly, before maybe 2021 or something. So nobody spoke about them. Somebody played, but nobody spoke. But then it became like a very fashionable thing to play, try to win, to fight the best chess players in the world. Then Champions Chess Tour is a great big project. So you somehow entered the elite chess world, the world of elite grandmaster. Is it a part of your strategy? Do you want to continue doing that?
I mean, absolutely. Our job is to serve the whole chess community from very beginner all the way up to the very elite players. And, part of that is to, the top players want to play top level chess against each other. So it's absolutely part of our strategy to, it's not I wouldn't say our strategy, it's our mission to do that. And as part of our mission, that is what we're doing, is creating events for top players. We listen to them very carefully. What do they want? What types of events are they interested in? What makes them happy? And so then we try to create events around that to serve them and for the community to watch them. I mean, I'm a huge fan. I love to watch top level chess. It's exciting. It's fun. So it's definitely part of our strategy to create amazing events for top players.
Yeah, but you're talking about doing something for the community. Are you a non-profit organization, or you consider yourself a business that should earn like a lot of money as every business, but still do something for the chess community? How do you, I mean, what do you think about that? How is it in your mind and in the mind of others at Chesscom?
Everybody who works at chess.com knows it's not their highest paying job. Like, they could all go out and work somewhere else and make more money doing something else. That's the facts. Like, chess is not, the most lucrative of business opportunities or careers. That said, we do exist. We do want to be self-sustaining and to make money and, create value and, be able to give raises and hire people. And so, it's not an either or. It's not like you have to be a nonprofit or you have to be the most capitalist, greedy company. There's actually a place in the middle, which is to try to do really good things and have a mission, but also be economically self-sustaining, to provide jobs, to put money back into the ecosystem. I mean, money comes in from subscribers on our platform and from ads, and then goes out to employees, to title players, through prizes, through content creators. So we're creating an economy to where people can make money in chess and to grow the game. And that's how we view it. We view it in the middle between doing a service for the community, but also creating an economic, center that can create, opportunities and money for people who are participating in it. So we consider ourselves a mission-driven company. So we are a for-profit company and we're profitable, but it's for our mission, which is we have three missions, which is to serve our audience and the community, to grow the game, and then to be the best partner to work with, whether you're a team member, an employee, whether you're a title player, whether you're another company, whether you're a content creator. We want to be the best possible partner for you.
What do you mean by grow the game?
Grow the game means the number of people who love chess. So when we first started chess.com, our mission was just to serve the community. Let's make features and content that the community likes. That was our whole mission. Later, when the pandemic happened and some of the other media things like Queen's Gambit and PogChamps and things, we actually realized, we don't have to just serve the existing audience. We can make the audience bigger. And so we've started to do a lot of things to try to grow the game so that more people can enjoy chess. And we've done that. Some of it has been things we have not done, but have been very lucky and serendipitous. But some things are things that we have done to, learn and understand the world out there at large and how to kind of get chess woven into people's lives in a new way. So the number of people who enjoy chess, whether playing or watching, has grown tremendously. And we think it's just the beginning. I mean, there's, I don't know, people say there's 600 million people who've played chess or whatever. I think it can be much larger than that. And, we're only at 160 million people who've played on chess.com. So we think there's, a long way to go.
Yeah, I've been hearing these numbers for many years, Eric.
Yeah,
600 million, 1 billion, 5 billions, 10 billions, and then we find out that nobody plays. Yeah, but okay, I'm joking, of course. But yeah. Are you a public organization? Do you announce your numbers? How much money do you earn? How much money do you spend? No.
We're a private company for now. One day, honestly, my dream one day would be to be a public company. I would love for us to be a public company so that the people who own the company are people who want to own it. I get a lot of requests from people who would love to be owners of the game of chess in some way and to buy shares and do that. So one day maybe we will be public. I would love that. We're not quite there yet. I think, being a publicly traded company in the US requires kind of a certain threshold of revenue and different things. And we're not quite there. I mean, frankly, we're 10 times bigger in terms of revenue now than we were in, say, like 2018. And that
happened because of the Queen's Gambit and the popularity of chess growing, or everything?
I mean, I'll send you some numbers after this. I'll send you some graphs that show you what the different peaks and where they came from. COVID was the first one. Queen's Gambit was another. PogChamps was another. Media Cycle was another. Cheating Scandal was another. Mittens was another. Creators were, and short form content was another. School boom in the US, where suddenly when you're in high school in the US, 10 years ago, chess was for nerds. Now everybody plays chess. And so there's been some big changes and things that happened that have all contributed to the really changing perspective and generational change of how people, perceive and enjoy chess.
You're saying that chess is booming in the American schools. Where else is booming? You can see the geography of chess. Did it change for the past years? Like India, do you see a growth, real growth?
Massive, great growth in India as well. Absolutely. I mean, we're seeing growth everywhere. But the two to highlight are, yes, American schools changed a lot, and then secondly, India, significant growth there.
Where else?
I mean, it's all of it has risen, but those are primarily two of the biggest areas. But again, most of our user base has become more geographically diverse, meaning it used to be at the beginning much more American centric. Over 50% was America. Now, US is 30% or something like that, and massive growth elsewhere. India is obviously number 2, but there's so many countries where chess is thriving. Turkey and Brazil and Philippines, and in so many places. So places it's not thriving. Surprisingly, China is interestingly
2 world champions from China now, men and women.
Yeah.
But,
I have tried very hard to reach through to China, and it's been extremely difficult. I mean, it's not easy to work through to their market.
Yeah, for sure. It's a very special place, and maybe they are not eager to develop American business like us. Also, another market that could be interesting for you is Russia, but Chess.com is blocked in Russia, unfortunately. Very unfortunate.
Yes, it is, but I mean,
do you wanna? Can you? No, it is blocked. I mean, you need VPN to access chess.com. Do you plan Do you plan to communicate with, I don't know, Russian government or somebody so Russian people could explore this actually amazing service you have?
I mean, we have a lot of Russian users. I mean, I don't know. Anecdotally, my friends who are Russian tell me that basically everybody in Russia uses a VPN because they don't appreciate being blocked from, Western news sources and other outlets. So, and we have a lot of Russian users. So I don't see a problem there. I mean, we don't have any Russian subscribers. No one can pay from Russia. Again, there's, I don't need to unpack the politics of what's going on with the war. But there are implications there. But we have a lot of Russian users. We're welcoming to them. We also have an official stance, toward the war that is pretty clear. And because of that stance, the Russian government has decided to block the service, which I heard really they just wanted to block one web page that we posted, but they ended up blocking the whole site because of it.
Okay. I think maybe if you try addressing somebody, they could unblock it. I don't see how do you block Chess.com. It's something very, very strange even for them, but still. Okay, but I'm just speaking from the Russian based audience. Let's say that it should be of course unblocked, and Chess.com is definitely now the main place to play chess, also to follow the top grandmasters playing online. But lately it's been a little bit hard for you, I think, to absorb all these anti-cheating statements that were made also by myself, by my good friend Vladimir Kramnik. Did you expect anything like that to happen this year, next year? How do you absorb this situation?
Cheating has been a really important issue for us basically since the beginning. I mean, I remember the very first time where we all thought we were very excited because we, as most people they played on ICC, that's where top players played. And when we launched chess on chess.com, people didn't care about it. It was casual people, etc. No top players. But when we thought we had our very first amazing grandmaster on the site, and who was winning all their games and doing, and then it turned out they were just a cheater, and we were like, oh my goodness, we were so naive at the time. because we were just getting started and we didn't understand. So I remember the feeling of our very first cheater and how bad that felt. And so we knew immediately that addressing that and getting, anti-cheating in place was going to be fundamental and crucial to the success of the platform long term. And that began the major investment that we've made into anti-cheating in terms of, infrastructure of, servers that can compute and calculate and work on all the games, hiring mathematicians, statisticians, researchers to understand, to doing different experiments and learning all the different pieces we could about it, to all the different monitoring and types of options of technologies and things that we can do through the browser. And so over the years we've invested. It's been a major investment for us to stay on top of this. And so what has happened in the last few months, frankly, is just the surfacing of concerns that people have always had. I mean, we've always had communication with players who have felt, suspicious of somebody or unhappy about particular players or situations or policies, and we've always handled that. I think what we're seeing now is that some of the things that have been said privately are being said publicly. And I think that some of that is great. I think that public discourse is always appreciated around the different policies and different things. And we have our critics. I mean, everybody can be a critic. Everybody should be a critic. I mean, everybody should be complaining about cheating because it's a problem. I want to say that the one distinction that is important is that it has always been completely acceptable for anybody to criticize chess.com. We're not shutting down any voices. I mean, there are a million forum posts on chess.com about things that people they don't like about chess.com. There are complaints about cheating. There are complaints about the company. There are complaints about me personally. There are complaints about all sorts of things. It is completely okay and acceptable to do that. The one line that we don't allow is for people to publicly accuse people of cheating without evidence and even in general, just to be publicly accusing individual people. That's against our terms. It's also against FIDE's rules to do that, is to publicly accuse somebody. It's in the FIDE ethical guidelines, and people can, so that's the one thing that we don't accept. But if people want to, complain about chess.com on chess.com, that's great. I get it. We're here. We're listening. But you cannot say, hey, I think that kid is a cheater, and name them and do that. You can't do that. FIDE doesn't allow it, and we don't allow that. That's
but
the
we
line
have
to
our
cross.
concerns. I mean,
Sure.
you should also understand that if a 12-year-old plays on the level of best games of Fischer, Carlsen, Kramnik, and Kasparov, we cannot play with him.
You absolutely, people can complain, and people do. We have all of the top players have access to our team to make specific complaints about people. That is completely acceptable as well. But that's stuff that has to be handled privately, because people complain all the time. People complained about Alireza Firouzja all the time. Cheater, 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 cheater. Well, it turns out he's maybe, one of the top best chess players, so people aren't always right. And so I'm really glad that people weren't publicly slamming Alireza Firouzja for years online for being a cheater, or Noterbeck, or a bunch of other players who turned out to be, wow, these are up and coming players, and people, their rating is only this FIDE, how they can't play at this level. Well, maybe you don't know. So maybe you should be, discussing it privately, and we'll see where it ends up. Now, I understand we don't necessarily handle every situation in the same way that everybody wants us to. We don't act just because someone thinks it, and we do our research, but it's not like it gets complained about and then, we delete the email. We look at this, we run reports, we look at the stats. We have 30 people who work at our company who are involved in fair play. We have 10 titled players working nonstop on doing analysis and looking at reports and handling this and monitoring and proctoring. We have millions of dollars invested into software and algorithms that look at these reports. We have deep statistics. We know how likely it is that a player of a certain rating can achieve a certain level of play. And the truth is that we understand that better than somebody in their own intuition. Intuition and stats do not mix very well.
Why do you call this intuition, Eric? It's not intuition. It's we're talking about Kramnik. Let's name the.
He's not the only one, though.
No, but sure,
he's the most published.
But he's the loudest one. So
he's the loudest.
He's the loudest one, and he's also the most respected one. He's the former world champion who has been in chess elite for 25 years, and everybody else is saying a lot of things behind the closed doors. I myself heard also thousands of accusations against top players, including Carlsen, Nakamura, everybody.
Yeah.
But publicly, almost everybody is silent, except for Kramnik, Caruana, Nakamura sometimes. I've heard some accusations and calculations, and the problem is that there are some obvious things. When a 12-year-old guy from Turkey, I will not name any, I don't remember his name, when he plays these amazing games, it's just amazing. Just look at the games, it's just amazing. Then either he's the best chess player that was ever born, or he is cheating. There are only two options.
Yeah, I think that's part of the problem, is that you view that that's only two options.
Okay.
That's the problem. But what people don't understand who don't work deeply in statistics is that there are probabilities and possibilities within the realm of statistics. Our team knows, for example, how possible it is for a player of a certain strength to play at a certain level over a small number of games. 1 game, 5 games, 10 games. There are streaks and possibilities of strength of play that just randomly happen. I mean, a lot of times people who make complaints will say, oh, this player, look at their result, or, oh, they look at their accuracy, which isn't a great measure, over this period of time. But the truth is that if you looked at that same thing, you would find that same pattern in a lot of other places because of the sheer volume of games that we have. And that achieving a certain strength of play has a statistical possibility to it. Just as if you flip a coin 10,000 times, you are going to find 50 heads in a row. You're going to find it. It's statistically possible. And so therefore it does happen. And so that's what I'm saying, is that people intuitively in their gut, it feels wrong that somebody could achieve a certain performance or do a certain thing because it feels off. It does. But then when you actually understand stats and math and probabilities and possibilities, and when you go and look at the games and say, oh, well, in this case, this person was actually winning the game, but then they lost in time trouble. Oh, and then in this case, there was this advantage, but they just threw a piece away and hung it. And so it looks like this person played super well. And in this game, it looks like accuracy was through the charts. Well, actually, it was just a super long winning easy end game, and they played a lot of easy, accurate moves at the end, which all adds up to a really high score. So what I'm saying is, humans developed intuition to see that, I feel like something is off here. But we're not mentally ready and programmed to understand the realm of possibilities that exist in the statistics. And we're talking about, for example, I was talking with someone who used to do PR for Airbnb. And they said that when you're booking 1 million, rooms a night, something bad is going to happen in one of those rooms every night. And so it's like, because it's a million things. Someone's going to get murdered in an Airbnb. Something bad is going to happen over a long period of time. But then people extrapolate that to mean different things. And so what I'm trying to explain is like, I understand the feeling that people can have. This person should not be able to have that performance, or this feels wrong. But any good statistician who spends time in there will explain that, like, when you have 12 million games played on chess.com every single day, you are going to find stuff that is just statistically odd because of the large number of things. And you have all these title players playing all of these games with all these performances, and what somebody, feels intuitively might be wrong is statistically possible. So that's, again, all the top players have accused each other over time. Oh, how could so-and-so, top 5 player play like that? You have to take that as a feeling and then go look at it. And then you have to rely on your research. I mean, I understand what you're saying, that like, if you're a world champion or former world champion, or you're one of the top players in the world and you see something, it just, it aggravates you and bothers you and it feels wrong. And so you want to express that. But we also have, we've analyzed billions of games with, a team of statisticians and researchers who are titled players themselves, who look at this and they understand the bigger view of what the story is here. So I wish it were easier to explain. Statistics are not, sometimes easy to explain, and they don't feel right. But what I'm saying is we take it seriously, but we also, we have millions of dollars of investment and dozens of people working who this is their full-time job to look at it. And then you have someone else who says, well, it feels wrong to me. Well, who am I going to trust? And like, we trust the investment that we've made.
I can perfectly understand that. But it's not only Kramnik. I mean, there are some well-known names that are playing amazing, beautiful, fantastic chess in Title Tuesdays, and then they come to the offline World Blitz Championship and show nothing. I will not name them, but everybody can find out about them. There are some people that are taking a lot of money into a Title Tuesday, and then you look their games offline during the recent event in Samarkand, and you are just bored. What the fuck is that? I mean, who are these people? They've changed the guy. Do you think, my question, Eric, do you think that there could be a big difference between level of play, not the results, level of play offline and online?
I think you're bringing up an important point here. So there can be a difference, not a huge difference, but we actually can measure a difference for how well people can play over the board and can play online. There are people who just play better online. They've spent more time playing online. They see the pieces better online. They have an intuitive feel for how it goes, just in a different way. But so there is some small difference, but you're not wrong that somebody who just, if somebody displays a, tremendous performance online, but over the board, plays significantly worse, that is something we have to look into. Absolutely. And we do. I want to say there's 2 things that make this a little bit uncomfortable here. One is that sometimes, and we see this all the time, and it is a problem where somebody, like you're saying, oh, this person they played beautiful chess like Bobby Fischer, in these games. They say that about a game or a particular player or something, and we go and look at the games with our analysts, and they're actually not remarkable. Like, they're actually like, what happens usually in this situation is the person who complained about it actually didn't play very well, and then just are saying that the person played like Bobby Fischer. That is a problem, is that people complain about games and performances saying they were like this, and when you actually go look at it, like, that was not remarkable. So that explains part of the problem. The other thing there's 2 other things actually. The other thing is that a lot of there, as you mentioned, before COVID, a lot of top players did not take online chess seriously. But you know who was taking online chess seriously?
Who?
The tier right below that. The tier of players who weren't invited to super tournaments. They were players who were 23 to 2,600, who weren't preparing for candidates. They weren't preparing for the championships. They were grinding it out in Title Tuesday. They were playing 30,000 games of, 3-minute chess. How much better are those players going to be at 3-minute chess than somebody who played 100 games online in a year and was preparing for classical chess? The thing that I'm saying is there is a generational change and difference between people who lived and optimized for the classical chess world and the new generation of players for whom online is their native experience of chess. And over the board is actually the strange experience. They might play 20 games of classical chess in a year and 20,000 games of blitz chess. There is a fundamental disconnect there about the understanding of chess between those two people. And that is something we are seeing. And I want to say one other thing that explains, and we can come back to any of these, but the other thing that explains what you're seeing is that the thing that we don't talk about and don't publish is we have a long list of suspected cheaters. We have a long list of suspected cheaters.
And?
We do. And when you're 90% sure someone's cheating and you have a list of 100 people, and if you banned all those people, you would have banned 10 innocent players.
Exactly, yeah. That's how the legal system works everywhere.
I mean, for us, banning 10 legitimate players at the cost of, for the other side, it's not something that we feel comfortable with. We don't feel comfortable with it ethically. We don't feel comfortable with it legally.
But statistically, listen, Eric, statistically, what you are doing is the following. For example, there are 90 people that are cheating and 10 people out of this 100 that you suspect that are absolutely not cheating. You would ban 10 innocent people. First of all, they will come, they will appeal, they will try to clean their names. Second, these 90 people probably played thousand chess games with absolutely innocent people who lost their money, lost their games, and nobody cares about their feelings. That they are banging their head against the wall, that they cannot play chess, and some 12-year-old guy is winning all the games against him, and he is so stupid that he cannot do anything. So, whoever we are taking care of, the 90 cheaters or 90 honest people?
Well, I understand your point, and I understand what you're saying there. And this is a hard ethical dilemma to have, and we may have different disagreements about this. What I will say, though, is that we're not talking, in my view, we're not talking about 90 people who are going to get away with cheating forever over thousands of games. We're talking about at any given moment, our level of certainty is not high enough. But over time, we do get to a level of certainty, and those people do get closed for cheating over time. It's not as quickly as what you're saying. If we closed everybody at 90% certainty, if we closed everybody when they hit 90% certainty versus just waiting a little bit longer till we're 99 or 99.9% certain, I understand there's damage done to people during that time.
A lot of damage.
I don't disagree. I understand.
To many people.
I understand. And I agree.
Also financial losses.
I agree. It really bothers me. But at the same time, if we started banning a bunch of innocent people, the damage done to our brand and what we can do, and then saying, well, I wasn't cheating. Well, chess.com can't determine between cheating and not cheating because I wasn't cheating. And so the brand damage, the legal complications of now having, people coming and suing us and they weren't cheating, but so now they're doing legal action. We want it so that when someone comes and they files a lawsuit, we're fucking ready to go all the way to as far as we can to defend that. And we will every time. I don't want to be in a position where I'm getting, dozens of lawsuits from people who weren't cheating, but were declared cheating. There are problems by prosecuting and saying these people are cheating when they're not. There are a lot of problems to that. There's credibility problems, there's legal problems, there's ethical problems. And so it's very easy for somebody to sit on the sidelines and say, hey, there's 100 people here, 10 might be innocent. We'll shoot all 100 and then figure it out later. That's just not responsible in my view. That said, I do understand that creates a problem because it allows for some more damage to be done in, as you mentioned, to some of the players and some of the things. And a lot of people wish we acted sooner. And I understand that, and I wish we could. And we're constantly making it so that our algorithms can act sooner with more certainty. So we are working on that. But we're also not going to cross the line into irresponsibility and just start banning people. Oh, that player's sorry, Ali Reza. You're the future potential world champion, but a lot of your co-players and they thought you were cheating, so we closed your account and we're sorry. That's just not how we're going to do it.
For sure. But still, I'm still interested in your opinion, because we are basically from different worlds, from the different parts of the chess world. Yeah, I've been more hanging out with top grandmasters for the past 20 years, and you've been creating the amazing product you've created at the end. So how do you feel offline and online? If Magnus Carlsen plays online or offline, I don't see any difference. When Maxim Vachier-Lagrave plays, I don't see any difference.
Yeah.
I don't see any difference when top player whom I trust. I understand it's very biased, extremely biased, but I can only think as I think. I mean,
Sure. Yeah.
I know Maxim Vachier-Lagrave, he is not cheating. So I see that he is on the top of the list in the Samarkand, and I don't understand. I see that his level is the same level offline and online. I see that my level is the same level offline and online, because it's the same game. And if you play a lot, you're saying that these guys are playing a lot from their childhood. Yes, but it's more to my point. Yes, they're playing a lot, but they're still playing the game of chess. It's the same rules. It's the same strategy. Yes, they can operate their mouses extremely well. That's why I'm saying not the results, but the level of play. Because when Hikaru wins all these end games, rook against rook, I'm not saying that he's a genius. I'm just saying he's extremely well and quick-minded with his mouse. I'm very bad with my mouse. I will never survive against such a chess approach. Yeah, but I don't understand why these guys that are so famous on Chess.com, that I'm not naming anybody, that I know that are winning Title Tuesdays, that are playing amazingly well, they don't come to Samarkand to win this money and take it from Maxim Vachier-Lagrave's hands, or from Dubov's hands, or from Artemyev's hands. It's a lot of money. It's $50,000 for the second place. Why don't they come and play if they are such geniuses?
I think I understand the question that you're asking. I think it's hard to talk about this without talking about specifics a little bit, but I'm going to try to dance around without naming people.
Sure.
I will explain this in a couple of different ways. Number one, sometimes these are people who are cheating, and they're high on our suspect list, and we're not quite ready to act because hasn't quite reached our threshold. So that is true. That is true. Other times, if you have 100 titled Tuesdays in a year, what percentage of the time is one of the top 5 players, top 10 players in the world winning the titled Tuesday? Do you know?
What do you mean? So
the majority of titled Tuesdays are won by the top players.
Yeah, sure.
Occasionally, it's won by somebody who is a low grandmaster or international master. Occasionally. That's the world of statistics, man. That's the world of statistics.
That's the world of statistics, but I still don't understand why don't they come to Samarkand if they can win even one. To win a title Tuesday for me these days against Carlsen, Nakamura, and people who are cheating. There are some percentage of people who are cheating, of course. I don't know this percentage. Maybe you know, but it's a miracle. It means you are an amazing chess player if you win title Tuesday.
You are an amazing. What it means is you've hit a certain level of chess playing ability.
Yeah.
And then a whole bunch of things could have gone your way. Fabiano could blunder in an endgame against you that he was winning, and then
Of
you
course,
suddenly win.
I agree.
And then these things. So when you take,
but still, you made Fabiano Caruana blunder. That's already something.
Yeah, maybe because you play online endgames faster and you make people uncomfortable because of how quickly you play. So what I'm saying is that some of it is that there are people cheating. Some of it is that the differences in understanding of how to play online chess versus over the board, especially around time controls and and blitzing and at the end game and pre-moves and all the other things, can work in favor of people who know.
But you can also do that. But you can also do that offline in Samarkand. What's the difference? It's the same chess. If you understand how the game works, you just come to Samarkand and show Fabiano how it's done.
The other thing also, though, is that this person might in 20 games with Fabiano might only win 2 games. Right?
That's true.
They might only win 2 games. Well, it just happens in that Title Tuesday, it was one of the games of it was the small percentage chance. And so when you have enough events, the small percentage chance plus the small percentage chance plus the small percentage chance leads to an otherwise unexplainable outcome because of a series of just things that happen. Now, most weeks that doesn't happen, but some weeks it does. And so we're talking about those 3 things, which is there, again, I will say there is some cheating. We know that. Secondly, there is differences between OTB and online, and sometimes online specialists make top players uncomfortable because they're just better at certain things. And then thirdly is when the small statistical possibilities compound together over time, you see abnormals. So we see all of this and we capture this in the data and we're monitoring this. And we're saying, oh, that person who just placed second in Title Tuesday, they are on our suspect list. We are calling them into a call next time. We are monitoring. Their performance was, look. And then our team, we've got Slack channels and emails and reports that say, okay, we looked carefully at this performance. This person performed far above expectation, okay, over a period of 11 games, or 9 games or whatever the event is. Okay, we looked through it. These were pretty suspicious, but then if you really look at these other games, this one had this mistake in it, which was very weird. This one was a time scramble and they won. This one was a this and this one was a this. So when we look at the full picture, we're like, that is not conclusive. That is very within the realm of possibilities that could happen. So what I'm explaining to you is that this isn't just, this isn't us hearing this and being like, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. We have dozens of people looking at this every single week, looking at the games, looking at the moves, looking at the time, looking at the opponents, looking at the reports, looking at the matchups and what happened, and then sometimes we conclude with, that was just a statistical anomaly. Sometimes we conclude with, that person got just outplayed in these time scrambles and these things, and they just outplayed in that way. And sometimes we say, wow, that is something that is crossed the line, and now we do a write-up and we close that person's account. If we didn't take chess cheating seriously at the top level, why would in 2023, why would we have closed 160 title players for cheating?
160?
160.
And how many title players do you have overall?
Thousands.
No, I understand it's thousands. How many?
I don't know the exact number in front of me. We closed 160 title players for cheating. That's a lot. That's a lot because we look at it. If we didn't care about cheating or we couldn't be sure, we'd be closing so far fewer because we'd just be, I don't know. But we take it seriously and we close accounts. We closed, and just so for us, there's kind of two types of cheating, just so you know. There's like top level, title players who play in events. And then there's like the kind of casual play. We closed over 1 million accounts on chess.com this year for cheating.
Out of 160?
Yeah. But again, out of even fewer, so out of, 60 million who play semi-regularly. So what I'm saying with this is cheating is a problem. It happens, but we're also aggressively attacking it, and we close a lot of accounts. So I'm just telling you, this is not... if you think the narrative is chess.com doesn't care, I think that is
no. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all.
I mean, we've got we make the investment, we close the accounts, we do the things, we look at it. If you say, "Hey, I don't like chess.com's approach. I think they're too conservative," I'll take that criticism. That's a disagreement. You think we wait too long, we're too conservative, we're too careful, and we allow too much damage to happen. We can have a disagreement about that. But we do take it seriously. We do look at it. And nobody is
arguing with that, Eric. Absolutely.
Okay.
I see. No. I'm just saying that maybe you're right. Maybe you are closing some accounts, of course, but maybe chess world thinks that I'm saying that as a representative of the chess world, nobody appointed me to, but still, I think that we feel, and everybody who is playing in Title Tuesday, a lot of people I've been talking to, they think that it's not enough. And maybe I can agree with that. Your threshold, if we're talking about, if we are comparing it with running, is maybe too low now. So you're maybe all too high, let's say. Yeah. So you have to change that and act more aggressively. And there will be mistakes. There will be mistakes for sure. But that's already a legal question. Yeah, I understand that you have some, let's say, some legal experience this year that couldn't be so fun for you. I can understand that. But still, it's part of the business now. And with the technologies growing, when we started our thing with Kramnik, that he's been announcing all his ideas, I've been receiving a lot of emails, a lot of messages, and I see technologies that somebody says, this technology, Ilya, this is the best technology you can play. And I see it and I understand, wow, oh my God. I mean, how can you fight that? It's such a disease. It's such a disease that maybe requires some more and more attention. And maybe you are saying you have 30 people, maybe you need 300 people. Who knows?
I understand this. So I want to address a couple of things that we do for this.
Sure.
Because I think that it's important to talk about how people can cheat. One is by somebody else watching and then relaying information to them, right? You have to get the information. You're either getting it from yourself or you're getting it from somebody else.
Exactly.
Or, as a famous case, someone was playing along with their phone while playing on the computer and they were looking down, and the stuff is easy to see. So people don't do that as much. So either you have to have something installed on your computer that is automatically doing it, or someone else is watching the game and relaying information to you. Those are kind of the only ways. In the first case, we detect, people don't know, and so I'm a little bit spoiling, but we detect the plugins that are in your computer, the extensions that are overlaying and doing things on there. And we close a lot of accounts for that. And thankfully, very few title players have been caught doing that. Some have, but very few with the extensions and the plugins. But that stuff is easy to detect. And we also have cameras that when we're nervous about somebody, or if they just get randomly assigned. So we call people into proctoring, as we call it, for two reasons. One, we might be suspicious. Another, it might be random. But we get to see their screen. We get to either capture their screen or we get a view with a camera from behind to see what is showing. As I was explaining, we have technology that can detect if you have something running on your computer. We also can ask people to be proctored, where we can get a camera view of what they're seeing on their screen in their environment. So we could see if there was something on the board, or if there was something else running, or if there was another device near them. So that's one way. The other way is somebody else giving them some signals. Now, there's ways to deal with that. One is a delay. Another is making the games private so that there is no one who can observe it in real time. Another one is monitoring, their audio. And so these are all things that we can do now, and that we are currently working on a new piece of software that when people play in our money events, including Titled Tuesday, they will have to play. It's basically a browser, but it's wrapped inside of a different program that will give us even more information about their computer, what's going on, their audio sources, all their video, and it will be even more information for us to process. Now, as you said in a private conversation, you said that you think that if that happens, you'll either see a lot of people stop playing or who will play at a different level. You might be right. We'll see. And that's something that we hope to be rolling out soon for participants in our money events, is to play with this software. So I'm telling you this, our view is that it is pretty difficult for somebody to be using the on-screen technology. And it's pretty difficult for somebody to be getting a relay of information to them. And we're working hard to make it even harder to do both of those things.
Do you feel bad about what Vladimir Kramnik and others are doing, that you've been investing so much into anti-cheating? Do you think it's unfair towards Chess.com?
I feel like anybody who expresses frustration or anger toward me or chess.com, I take that as a symbol of how much they love the game of chess. And so I understand it, and I take it in a positive way, because I know it comes from a good place of caring, of passion. And some of the most passionate people are some of the fiercest critics. So I take that. It hurts my heart, because I feel that they're feeling negativity and anxiety, but I also take it as a positive because they care so much, and it motivates us and moves us to, be the best we can and to do the best we can. So, I'm not upset with Kramnik at all, except for him naming specific people who, we may have disagreements about. And I think that's why FIDE also has banned, people to outright accuse people publicly of cheating, because those are feelings, and they may not be backed up. So I have no problem with Kramnik's calling it Cheating Tuesday and being mad and saying the things. That's fine. He can do that all day long. He can do it on his profile. He can do it on chess.com. He can post where he wants. That's fine, because he cares about the game, and I understand that. I might think he's wrong. I might think he doesn't understand statistics. I might think he's out of touch with the younger generation of players. I might have a lot of different thoughts about why that is, but I don't feel bad toward him. This comes from a place of love for the game, and I respect that. And that's why, I'm very open to criticism. I'm very open to how people feel, because, we all love the game. I do think that people lack a fundamental understanding of statistics. I do think some people lack an understanding of what players are capable of and what is within the realm of possibility. I do think that people lack an understanding of what players are capable of. And I do think people don't give us enough credit in some ways for the capabilities and the investment that we have made. That said, they're focusing on things that are particularly painful to them, a particular loss, a particular event, a particular thing. And so sometimes that clouds out the overall view of what we're doing. And the thing that does bother me a little bit is that it can sometimes then create a cycle of paranoia where it doesn't need to be there. So, and I don't think that's particularly healthy for the game, but I understand where it's coming from. I accept the criticisms. I'm not happy with our levels of what we're able to do. I'm pushing the technology farther. Me personally, I'm very involved in fair play. I understand our algorithms. Why aren't we doing this? I want to be able to measure that. We need to invest more here. Let's build some proctoring software. Let's do that. I'm driving a lot of this because I care. We could save millions of dollars a year by not caring about this, but we don't. We invest because we also care. And so I just want to share that I understand we may have differences of views on things, but this is definitely not coming from a place of not caring.
Eric, one probably last question on this particular thing, anti-cheating. So we've started some rush about that like half a year ago in spring when Kramnik was saying that Chess.com, all eChess or anybody else, any platform should introduce some simple measures like no headphones during playing the title games or games for money. Every account of the title player there should be anonymous accounts. So still there are a lot of streamers, famous streamers, who are playing with their headphones on, which is basically, I mean, I can understand that maybe they're not cheating, but when I see a player playing with the headphones, it's not chess. You cannot play chess offline, online. It doesn't matter. Why does it take so long to introduce these measures that could ease the situation? If I can say that in English, soften the atmosphere.
I think it's fair. We have a lot of discussions about policies. I think what people don't understand is that we can actually monitor what's going on in the audio with the headphones. And the other thing is when you're playing in a game on delay, like having an audio doesn't actually help you because there's a delay of, potential signals coming into you. So we think that the headphones thing is not as big of it. I understand it's a perception problem, but we don't really think that's a real vector for cheating. So we just may disagree there on that as a potential vector. Now, if we banned all of it, would it, make some people more comfortable? Maybe, but it's also like a lot of people are used to playing online chess with headphones, and so it's a slight disagreement on that. But we hope that our continued investment in technology will help to ease that concern, at least about headphones. I'm sorry, I forgot the second point that you made. The other policy.
Like real names, no anonymous accounts.
That's already our policy. Like everyone should have a real name. When we find that somebody enters an event, if we catch it, again, there's hundreds of players and we have dozens of people, but if we find that, we will add their real. In fact, we made it so that people can't remove their first name and last name if you're a titled player. So that's already a policy. Now, if some people don't know who it is, maybe someone slipped through the cracks.
Okay.
But there should be no anonymous players at all in prize money events.
Okay. And if you block somebody, a person can enter and can open another account and play. As I understand that you can only have 2 accounts on Chess.com, not more than 2. Do you monitor like IP addresses or something? Because the player got blocked, he will open with new email and start and continue playing. How does it work? Are you
talking about title players or are you talking about the general population?
Both.
For title players, our policy is that they can have one anonymous account. For the general population, they're not supposed to have more than one account.
And why is that? Why is that different? Why title players can have one anonymous account?
Because they may be practicing openings or doing certain things or preparing in certain ways, but they're not allowed to play in money events with that account. But they might just be doing things and trying things, and we understand that that's a need and a desire that a lot of them have.
A professional need, yeah.
Yeah, it's a professional need. So now, can those people, do we have banned titled players who come back and play on our site? Yeah, we do, and we ban their account again. But it's also, it's challenging for us because browser companies are constantly, trying to make it harder for us to track people. And so, we're fighting against Apple and Google and a lot of people who are, trying to make privacy more important, which I understand. There's a lot of governments that persecute people. There's a lot of needs to have privacy on the internet. I understand it, but it also makes it harder for us to ban people and say, oh,
them, yeah.
that person, we can't, if we ban someone for cheating, if you're smart enough, over time, you can find a way to create a new account that we don't know about, whether VPN or, changing, using certain browsers that don't share any information. There's a lot of ways to do that. So it's an impossible battle for us to win, to say we can permanently ban someone. Now, we can ban titled players, but they can come back on non-titled accounts. And they do, and then if we catch it, we ban it again.
Yeah, so it's hard, yeah?
I mean, it's just technically hard. I mean, privacy, which again, understandably, browsers are making it harder and harder for us to know exactly who somebody is.
Last question, Eric, not to finish on the anti-cheating, because I myself am very tired. Is very, very tired of this particular theme. You've participated in the organization of candidates in Madrid in 2021. Are you planning to enter the offline chess world, maybe collaborating with FIDE on more events like World Championship candidates, Olympiads? I don't know. What are your plans towards the offline chess world?
Over the board chess and offline chess world is super important. It's really fun to watch. In fact, we, for the first time when we did our, Champions Chess Tour, the finals were played over the board rather than online, which was, new for us. It had always been online until that point. Going forward, we think that our Champions Tour will continue to have over the board portions to it. Our goal is to not invent a whole bunch of new chess stuff. We kind of have what we do. We do Speed Chess Championship. We do Pro Chess League, which we're still in discussions around how to do that best. We do Titled Tuesdays and Arena Kings and a bunch of things. And then we have basically the championship, the Champions Tour. It used to be Global Chess Championship, all sorts of things. We're still trying to figure out the future of that. I think what you're asking is, what's chess.com's relationship with Classical, with Over the Board, with FIDE? And that's an ever-evolving conversation, to be honest. I think a lot of that depends on FIDE and what they want to do. I mean, we have tried various approaches with FIDE, where we have wanted to be the producers and commercial partners of events. We have tried to, we've ignored certain events because they don't match with our needs, or, FIDE has demands that are, not what we want to do in order to collaborate on something. And so, honestly, 24 hours from now, I'll be on a call with FIDE, trying to figure some of these things out. So we have an ongoing kind of relationship there that we're trying to figure out. I think FIDE is trying to figure out the same thing. I think they're probably thinking, wow, there's this whole online chess world that we're not a part of. And, so it's kind of an interesting dance between us. I think, chess.com has its critics for things that we do that people don't like. And, as you've said, I understand that. I think FIDE has its critics for its reasons and its connections and its past and its, current policies. And so we're both trying to understand each other and what our roles are together. And, there's different paths. We might be super collaborative if we feel like we're going in the same direction. We might be super divergent, depending on, if their decisions and their values and their mission align with ours. So it's a little bit to be determined.
Fair enough. Eric, thank you very much. It's been very, first of all, it's a pleasure. Second, it's an honor. Third, it's been very informative. And Levitov Chess is always open for anything you want to say. And basically, thank you very much.
I appreciate you. And I hope this is just the beginning of our conversations and we have many more.
Me too. Thank you very much, Eric. Thank you. Bye.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.